Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. It's another hot day out there. Some say 33, some say it's on the internet say it's just 30. But it's damn hot. It seems a hell of a lot hotter. So, today on this exciting channel, we're going to discuss my life with diabetes. Well, that's what we do all the time, but since I was diagnosed with diabetes, way back, I guess early October, I guess it was October 6th, that we finally got the message that I was a diabetic. And back then, it was just a juvenile. It was called child onset. There was a whole bunch of different names until they settled on type 1 and type 2. But for me, and I mentioned this before, it really wasn't that bad. Here all of a sudden, I was losing weight. I thought that was a plus. Well, I since learned that it isn't a plus by any means. But you want to ensure that it's how you take it. Positive attitude. And I've done a whole video on this prior, but I really hate it when workers are that, well, you are a diabetic. No one told me. And a lot of patients or healthcare providers will come up with a saying, well, let me tell a story first. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. The next day I found myself in a hospital, never even stepped into a hospital. Closest thing was before I used to go and wave at people who were in the hospital because kids were not allowed in the hospital. So I went there and it was pretty much an adventure. I didn't have to get hooked up to an IV. So, it was all pretty easy. But I can remember getting a shot of liquid, and I guess they took a blood sugar from me. And the the intern on call came and said, well, do you want pineapple juice? I don't know. Do I want pineapple juice? I said, no, I'm fine. He said, well, you're going to have some pineapple juice. And he brought pineapple juice. And he said, well, this is in case you have a reaction. I didn't know what the hell a reaction was. And the term for that has certainly changed. It's no longer a reaction, it's low blood sugar. And so, each day was a learning curve. The only part that I really sort of faltered in and kind of got me, the worst part of it, let's put it that way, was taking a needle. I was fine if they wanted to give me a needle. I had one, and after you've had the one, they really don't hurt. They really don't. The only time I've ever found a needle to hurt, or an insulin needle to hurt me, is when you're just in a rush to get somewhere and you do it so do it at a nice steady pace and you'll be fine. But I couldn't pierce the skin. There was something stopping me from piercing the skin. And I think it was my mind saying, hey, that's going to hurt. Don't do that. But we did it. We made it through. And things worked in. Once I got over that stumbling block, that was the beginning of my time in the hospital. I can remember there were times I was given a pass that I could go out and had to go and get a book from my locker at school. And I can remember getting caught by a teacher and it's saying, no, my mom's just down at the office. I'll be right back down there. And it took a little convincing, but I think I finally got through. And there's an awful lot of teachers who think that you're trying to get out of class. And at that point, there was no glucometer. I couldn't go and say, I'm not feeling well. Well, could I go to the nurse? And a lot of them would say, no, you don't need to go. Nurse, go sit down. And by the end of my lunch, I'd made it to my locker and would have my meals. But again, I don't think they were trying to be vindictive about it. I think it was just they didn't really know. And hell, we need to educate everyone. My grade 8 and 9 later in the year, I started to have, or no, I guess it was grade 9. I started to have a lot of recurring blood sugars, and I'd end up in the nurse's office. And I can remember that this was an unfortunate time, but somebody was going and setting off the alarms, the fire alarms, and of course and this was like 6 times a day, and they could never catch the person. Well, there was one time I had gone and I'd say, I'm really not feeling well, and it was, I was totally drenched, and the fire alarms went off, and they had to move me by stretcher outside. And of course, the whole school's there looking at you like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you in a stretcher? Now, they didn't say that, but I'm just going through in people's minds. So, how you deal with people who aren't diabetics can be a little frustrating. But don't fret, I'm sure you'll all do fine. But my life as a diabetic have been perfect. I was early 20s, and no, it was very early 20s. I had got out of college and was staying with my mom and stepfather, and sorry, my nose is itchy today. And then I was put into the hospital again. Surprise, surprise. Me in the hospital, never. And anyway, I got this roommate that just didn't want to have diabetes. Well, who gets up there and says, can I please have it? Can I please have it? And all I remember was that the whole room had to be pitch black all day. And he was giving the nurses trouble, and my doctor would come in to see me and turn on light, and he'd be yelling and screaming. And I've got to give credit to, my endocrinologist at the time. He kind of told him off. And I think something kind of, turned on, because they got him taking insulin. And I guess he was a lot quicker on the needle than I was. And he was able to go home. But he had to come back for, diabetic education centers, don't we all? So, life as a diabetic doesn't have to, I got diabetes, I can't do shit all. Sorry, excuse my language. But, you know what? You can live your life. You can pretty well do most anything you want to do. It's up to you. Okay, have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye now.